free.
From his phone.
Just like how my dog had a stroke. It's in the past now. You can either learn from it or you can.
That's
not.
why it's called the present, because it's a gift.
Shut up. I want to talk about how our names like represent our rising signs. So Kaylin's Sag Rising says my dog had a stroke, and I just feel like that's some Sagittarius blunt ass shit that she would just say.
Like, and it has nothing to do with the topic.
Maya's a Virgo rising, so she looked at this movie and took something exactly from the movie and said, let's just keep it clean and concise. Flounder. He's a character in the movie, right?
That's every week we do something from the movie, and I couldn't think of a good reference.
Me neither, so that's why I picked mine.
And mine, Leo Rising said, my tail shines every color of the rainbow and is sparkly.
I know, because the link I sent was, do you want to play mermaids?
I know, and I took that into consideration.
I love that. Thank you. Kaylin, never mind. Bring us in.
You're listening to Post Credit Depression, where we discuss this week's current hyperfixation. My name is Kaylin, and I have pink frog Lego in my room.
My name's Kinsey. My name's Kinsey, and my cats still have fleas after over a month. And I've given them countless.
You're just gonna pick an illness going on with your dog.
If not more, 10 baths. I've already given them 10 baths, and they still have fleas.
By the way, my dog's okay. For you guys wondering, she's fine.
My
That's the only reason I made
they still have fleas.
My name's Mariah. My name's Mariah.
Why so loud?
She's very loud.
My name's Mariah, and my fun fact is that I gave up on the DIY mini house. Look, my desk is empty. I cleaned the bitch up.
You gave up on it. Bro, I opened that bitch up last October. Wait, I think I opened mine last November, and it's about to be November again, and I haven't touched it since because of how much it depressed me.
Y'all just reminded me that Colin's mom gave us one to do for her, and we haven't opened it up. And she gave it to us for last Christmas and said have it done by next Christmas. I haven't started it.
I would work on it more, but the reality is it's not very convenient to like stop working on it. You have to like get to a stopping point, and you can't just like clean it up. Like it's
honestly,
just there.
I feel like you have to be on a night before your finals is due energy where you just pick one of your off days and commit to doing the entire thing.
I agree.
And if it doesn't get finished in that day, then you schedule another time to do that exact same thing. Because I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit down and build one piece of furniture every day.
Like, I like when I paint because I can dedicate an hour to it and I feel like I'm making progress. I did an hour and I made a fucking bookshelf.
Yeah! Yes!
She said she hated it so much she was sending the snap. Now, I feel like I need to get one so that I can, like, feel this pain that you guys are talking about.
Well, I really want... Mine really needs to be built because it is so cute, and it's like a little cat house. Do you know how cute it would look in my office space? Like, it would look so cute on this desk right here. But I just can't get the willpower to get up and make it.
I'm making mine a gay cafe.
That's not very Steve Jobs of you. In your black turtleneck there.
My Saturnian energy.
I'm making mine a gay cafe because it's called Rainbow Cafe. There's only like one part that I need to edit.
Well, was there like a homophobic flag?
There's a part that says there's a part that says something God has forgiven us.
I told Mariah to make an Oikawa flag.
It's almost the same thing, right?
Yeah.
I told her to make an Oikawa flag for her little gay shop with him going.
It's a sign that says the God thing.
Hold on, I'll pull it out.
You should just do a tiny mini painting of like an anime character. Or like a frog, that's very gay.
Well, yeah, I was thinking about painting like the tables too. It says, because of you, God, I am forgiven. All my fears is gone. Something, something, something. And I just feel like it kind of will ruin the vibe.
Well, you could even write like a tiny little, like if it's a gay bar, just put like a little love is love or put like pride flag poster or something like that, you know?
Yeah, that's the plan.
All right, Pose, we gotta get this rodeo on the show.
This rodeo on the show. This what?
Show on the road.
That was good. I'm gonna say that.
Kinsey, stop burping.
No.
Ask me what we're sharing.
What are you sharing this week?
Ask it like you care more.
What are you sharing this week, Flounder?
This week This week, I decided to share The Little Mermaid, the live action one, because way back when it came out, obviously I'm for the black and
She's
brown
holding her
people.
fist up, listeners.
Why was that the most like? What's that dude? What's that dude? He's a mouse, and he goes like this with his yellow hand.
This is Stuart. Oh, that's Arthur. He is
Yeah,
actually not. He's not a He's an aardvark, man. He's not
whatever.
a.
That
Okay.
little fist I did
Mouse.
reminded me of his like,
Yeah,
you know.
I'm obviously for the black and brown people. For our audio listeners, aka all of our listeners, I am of color. I'm a black woman in America. I wanted to watch this movie in theaters, but we didn't have time to see it, and I could give two fucks about The Little Mermaid prior to this film. But it just meant a lot to me personally, so we decided to watch it, and I texted Kayla and I said, I want to watch The Little Mermaid with you. And I
Not
decided
with
to kill
me
two
though.
birds in one stone and throw it on the podcast week. So here we are. What is your guys' prior care or knowledge of The Little Mermaid? Because I had none. I was to the point where I was telling Kaylin, oh, that scene was different. And then she would yell at me and say, no, Mariah, that literally happened in the movie. But I hated the original Little Mermaid. I thought it was boring. Oh my God, he is an aardvark.
First of all, Mariah, don't sit here and tell me that man with two mouse ears looks like an aardvark. Excuse me, he looked like just a lighter brown Mickey Mouse.
It's canon.
I'm not saying he's not an aardvark. I'm just saying that's not the peak of character design to recognize that he even looks like an aardvark.
I like that we're digging in.
When you said Arthur, I was confused on who we were talking about.
I knew exactly. Well, I was gonna say Stuart Little, and then as soon as she said yellow, and I said, "Oh my god, I see it."
Yeah, that's what she reminded me of.
All right, so here's my answer. I'm going first. I watched the movie, and I think only for A Mermaid, but and also little kid me was always trying to see under somebody, like, you know, if they were naked. I'm sorry, that's the truth. Why do you think I like The Last Unicorn so much? Like, she's butt ass naked when she transforms.
That's
like,
why you liked the vampire movie too.
Like, you know, and I remember when Ariel was like naked in the water, I was like, excuse me, can I like see through the water for a second? Like, I don't know, when she turned into a human. But anyways, I remember that, and I agree. There was no chemistry there. I was bored of it. Like, it wasn't a movie that swept me off my feet. It wasn't a favorite like princess moment. I felt more from Beauty and the Beast, and that's about Stockholm syndrome. You know what I mean? Like,
all right, well, I'm gonna have to disagree with you guys. I really liked the movie when I was a kid, but not for the plot. I really liked seeing the mermaids, looking at their boobs, and I really loved the background paintings. Like,
you have to agree that you weren't sold on anything story wise.
Yeah, I didn't watch for the story, ding dong. I asked my mom to put Little Mermaid on all the time because I loved seeing mermaids.
Okay.
And like when you see them singing in the castle, I doesn't even fucking know what I'm talking about. Like in the first movie, like Ariel's late to their choir thing or whatever the fuck, and all the girls are like doing a little show inside the castle and they're singing, and the top clam, so they're all in clams. They open up one by one and they're singing, and the top clam is supposed to be Ariel because she's like the best singer, and it opens up and she's not there because she's fucking around in an old abandoned fucking ship, which is where she runs into the shark, which I loved the shark scene too because I loved sharks. It scared the fuck out of me. But that's why I really liked the old Little Mermaid. Never for the plot. I didn't think her and Eric had good chemistry, but I loved the mermaids.
Well, I think the difference between you and Mariah and Mariah had like never really been attached or watched it a lot. I think I watched it at an older age versus like, you know, when I watched Aristocats when I was a kid, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I just saw cats and I liked cats. You know what I mean?
Like, and they sang.
So, you know, I can empathize with like watching a Disney film at a young age and not knowing what the fuck's going on. It's just like, you know, beautiful animation. You know, I get that.
You know, I knew the plot. I just didn't care for it. I pulled up that movie because I just wanted to see mermaids. I would pause the movie to see as many of the mermaids as I could because, you know, they'd fucking be like that camera was zooming way too fast. I wanted to look at the designs, kind of like in Peter Pan, where they zoom over those mermaids way too quickly. Like, let me enjoy them.
Peter Pan's what I watched for my Little Mermaid or my mermaid fix.
That's literally a less than a minute of exposure to the mermaids.
No, they had a whole scene.
Yeah, but it's not enough.
They literally tried to drown Wendy and everything, and then they come back around.
There's no way that scene caps 2 minutes. I'm putting money down on that.
Oh, well, no, but Kinsey made it feel like they just glanced over them, and I wanted to make sure credit was given.
But I'm saying it's not enough. It's not enough. When Ariel was an entire movie, you know?
Yeah. Well, she was only a mermaid for, like, the first 20 minutes of the original movie.
That's more than Peter Pan.
I
Case
just
closed.
Yeah.
know at whatever age I watched it, it was enough for me to like understand the story, appreciate like how pretty the movie was, but then I just wasn't attached. I didn't like put my heart on it forever. You know what I mean? It was just a movie I had watched.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
crazy.
remember liking it as a small child. When I was about 15, 16, I rewatched it because I was like, why do I not care about this movie? And then when I rewatched it, I was like, oh, there's actually a lot more than I thought there was to the movie because I forgot about the whole scene where she fights Ursula. I just remember girl loses voice, girl fall in love, girl kiss boy, gets
See,
voice back.
I will say when I was a kid, even though I didn't really care for the plot, the scene where she has to fight Ursula in the movie was like hype as fuck.
Yeah, it was a
Mhm.
Like
good scene.
the cinematography hype.
Yeah, I think it's just,
I also liked their little date too.
I was surprised when I saw the timestamp on the live action movie. I was like, damn, it's long. But like,
Yeah.
I think it definitely like adds so much more to the story that makes it such a sweeter story. And I mean, we're just talking about plot at that point, but like, you know, I think that maybe it's just the movie. It's like the structure of the story was there. It's an old classic tale, The Little Mermaid, but like, I really, I didn't vibe with the first.
Didn't
I
you?
was just telling Kinsey how I started crying. So for all those out there keeping tabs on how many times Mariah's cried to something we watched, um, I literally started crying when she was singing out of this part of this world.
Mm-hmm.
That was embarrassing. That was probably worse than when I cried to the girl getting the candy in that other movie.
Where the crawdaddy sing.
Yeah.
What? That was understandable to cry about.
So, it was just, very touching. I think that her voice was literally so beautiful, and I think she was like the
So
perfect person to be the Little Mermaid. I don't even know who the other options were.
I agree. I agree. No, there
I
couldn't be
agree.
any others.
And what I was most nervous about with the film was honestly like the CGI. Like I knew that was like right at the brinks of like Disney getting shitty with their CGI. But they did so good with this one. I really felt like really magical with the colors, the looks, and everything it felt like when they were under the water. I loved it.
I think what
Yeah.
I was worried about was like the Disney live action qualities. Besides, I really like Cinderella. That one wasn't bad. I didn't see
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast. I saw The Lion King, and it's just like, you know, I was being sold movies we'd seen, but they're now in 3D, and also there's just nothing added, and I was afraid of that happening here, but also like, in it was a whole controversy earlier when they casted a black role for a popular like, you know, role. It was like awful and ridiculous, and I like unfriended bitches over it literally. But I was just afraid. I'm like, I hope that they're not hoping that this hype, like in the good parts of it, that the hype is going to carry the movie over. Like I want them to still like put their asses into, like you said, the CGI, and like also tell it good. I don't want to watch a play by play of what we originally saw. Like, and they completely made it better.
Except for Flounder.
What the fuck is
Yeah, I
The
will say
second
like
Flounder was on the screen, Caitlin was dogging on him.
the other live action movies, I feel like they put effort into like the looks of it, but the story would always you can't take the exact story from the Disney movie and just put it in 3D because then it feels weird. And I feel like with the Ariel movie, they at least spiced it up so it felt like, okay, if I'm gonna watch the same damn movie that I technically already know how it ends, then like how else are you going to make it enjoyable for me to watch? So I did enjoy that, and I feel like they haven't done that in the other Disney remakes.
absolutely
Personally,
broke the
my
Yeah.
rules?
opinion about the Disney remakes is to stop fucking doing them. Like I think it's a waste
Yeah.
of energy and time, but I think this Ariel one was very awesome and
And
worth
I
it.
think the only reason why Caitlin had said the Cinderella one was good is because Cinderella is a classic tale that's already been told hundreds of times.
There's tons
Like
of live
there's so many
action
different
at
variations of Cinderella.
Cinderella.
So them repeating that story is not a bad story. You're gonna like
Yeah.
Cinderella no matter how it's told.
It definitely just needs variation. Like when I watched live action Lion King, I just felt like I was watching this like eerie, uncanny, realistic like animals, but it's like a play by play of the cartoon. Like when I was
Yeah.
watching it, it was like I've seen the Lion King hundreds of times, like the cartoon version. I mean technically the 2D animated cartoon version. Um and so I just was like, I felt like I wasted my goddamn time sitting in the theater. I was like, what did I just watch? Like,
Why do
I
I
believe that Beauty and the Beast had a twist. I don't remember. I only watched it once. I didn't like it that much, but there was like some weird twist. And I think that that's a good idea. I think they need to broaden that idea of like having a different turn or a different twist to the story if they're going to retell it.
it doesn't have to be even huge. Like Kinsey said, even some spice. Some
Yeah,
spice.
it's like some spice, you know? I feel like the
Flavor.
last time the country was happy is when Beauty and the Beast was announced. Do you remember, like, everybody was so excited for the live
Yeah.
action Beauty and the Beast. Was that, like, 2017 or 2018?
It might have been earlier
Like,
than that,
well,
dog.
I think it came out those years, but was announced 2016.
Hold on.
Deadass, I remember being happy in general
Being
with my life
happy.
when that movie had been announced.
March
Yeah.
2017 is when it came out.
You know what?
Told you, dog. That adds up.
Let me
Yeah.
tell you. I'll tell you when I stopped being happy with Disney. I'll say it quickly. It was after Tangled and Frozen, not because those were good, but then I realized we weren't going to go back to 2D, and I remember being so happy with Princess and the Frog. So when I realized like we weren't turning back to that, I was like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? That was the last one we ever get. We're just going to do this from now on. So
Dang,
I
after
agree.
Frozen, I kind of realized the trend was setting in.
I wanted to mention something really quick because it's related to Disney. A lot of people have been roasting the new Wish movie, saying that, which I agree with this, by the way. Okay, what I'm about to say. They've been like roasting Disney's like female design leads because they all look the fucking same because they took some crack cocaine from Rapunzel and noticed that it worked even better a second time when Frozen was made, and they was made that
Chowder.
Chowder, get down.
I saw him meow at you. Preach, girl. Preach.
Anyways, what I was saying was that they've been recycling the same fucking female lead
Face.
design since Tangled, and of course it worked lovely in Tangled.
Amen.
And Frozen I feel like was the good like 2.0 version of it, but I could already tell back then. I was like, they're not letting this design go. They're not letting this like doll face thing go. And you've seen it in every character, even like Mirabelle from fucking what's it called?
Encanto.
Encanto,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, I mean, she didn't look exactly, but very, very, very similar,
So are people roasting Wish because they have the same character design?
Yes, it's straight up like I do love that they're making like new movies with like not just
Just
white
different
leads,
stories.
like different stories from different places in the world. So I can't tell you like what the plot's like and if that's worth it, but like it's been heavily being like roasted all over
Yeah.
Twitter. I was on the Twitter threads
Well,
looking at
because
them.
her character design also looks very similar to the sister from Encanto, and she doesn't look like she has diversity to her, which is the issue that I'm sure Disney's already faced before. So it's very
Oh my god,
shocking of
you're
them to
right.
do
It's
this.
just Isabel with braids. Like
Yeah, and so I'm
Isabella.
actually very shocked because I'm sure they've gotten hate in the past about the way that they designed their ethnic characters.
and like when
Exactly.
you even look at that, it's like, is that the only face that people have? No.
Is that the only face that can be considered beautiful? Because when you only make the lead character look like that, it really teaches little girls and people in general, like, oh, you have to have this kind of proportioned face if you want to be the
It,
coolest
it
Mhm.
person.
makes conventional. It makes, cookie cutter. Like, oh, if I don't look like that, am I not a main character, princess,
Yeah.
pretty enough? Yeah.
I'll be watching the movie regardless so that I can bash on Disney because they tend to flop with their black and brown characters. So
I'll argue that Mirabelle, in comparison to the doll faces, she did look quite a bit different, at
But
least, than like.
it's like a foundation though, because you can even see it in Moana. You can see the similarities of
Mhm.
Moana's face to Rapunzel, Elsa, and Anna, and you can see the same thing with Mirabelle. They just like with Moana, they made her face a little more square, and with Mirabelle, they made it a little bit more like oval in horizontally though. Okay, but like if you
Mhm.
look at the eyes and like the proportions and their expressions, like I was looking at a lot of the art books on how they draw their expressions and shit. I'm just like, this is just like slightly different, but not that different enough. Anyways,
Mhm.
that's my rant. Just wanted to mention it since we were already on the Disney plot. Continue.
yeah, so then they introduced us to all the characters in the movie, and I thought that they did. My favorite thing was that all of the mermaids had different nationalities, which obviously we all know. We've all heard the hate throughout the film when it was being made, and that was another thing people hated on.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was
King
cool as fuck.
Trident got around. He
He,
got around. He said,
he,
"I
he
went to all 7 seas."
Well,
I was
that's
just about to
also
say that,
yeah.
Mariah. He said, I went to all 7 seas and found the finest, a finest
But I think
royal.
that's also so cool though, because like one, they are based on like whatever sea they came from, which is neat. But it goes to show that family isn't conventionally like you look the same. I embarrassingly, when I was a kid, because I was raised in the fucking South, when I moved to Maine, met my black friend's mother, and she was white, and I was like, oh. And I asked my mom, I was like, how? And then I saw their dad, and she's like, well, you see, that's called biracial.
Bro, I remember being a kid and being like, these people aren't gonna believe this is my mom, but this is my mom. She birthed me, and I'm like, they're not gonna believe me. When I'd be
No,
at
if you would have
stores,
ran into little sheltered ass, Mississippi version of me at like fucking 5 years old, I was 5, I would have been like, why? How? Because
yeah,
Schwab.
I remember being in stores being like, mom, mom, and I'm like, they don't know my mom's white.
Well, it's like I think it's the fact that in media we don't see a lot of like
I agree.
different families like that or like biracial families.
And when people bitch online about it, I'm just like, that goes to show how fucking stupid you are.
Like
That like
clearly you only
families.
watch one type of media and that's either the whole family's black or the whole family's white and that just doesn't like when I saw all the mermaids that were different nationalities, I was like, makes sense to me. He got around. Like, what do you mean?
I didn't. You know what's interesting is like even if I was a child, because like this is where my mind was at watching it, is like a child's not gonna look at that and even question it. Like if those are her sisters and that's their dad, that's the story, and like I would have bought it. You know what I mean? And I think people put too much stake into traditionalism and fucking every family must have a mom and a dad, and fuck black people. Yeah.
Fuck the gays, fuck all people that
Yeah.
aren't
I
traditional.
know. And I said how bad Flounder was, and then Mr. What's his name? Kalen the crab. Sebastian came on the screen, and I was like arguing with Kalen about how I thought he was a lobster. I swore he was a lobster in the original movie.
Colin did too. He came home from work while we were watching it. And he said, "Wasn't Sebastian a lobster?" And I wanted to like explode.
Yeah.
Well, hear me out. I thought that Sebastian was a lobster in the original movie. For sure, like their character design of him is just if they didn't want that, they shouldn't have drawn him like that.
Okay, I'm glad I wasn't
It's the
crazy.
head.
It's the head, it's giving lobster, but then when you see
You look
him,
at his ass, it's a crab.
yeah, his ass is a crab. So I was always confused with that as a kid because I was like, are you a crab or are you a lobster?
Yeah, so obviously we know the plot of the movie, so I don't need to like dive through the plot.
Guys,
Yeah. What? Can we talk about like some of your favorite parts and stuff like that?
I was getting there.
I was just making a suggestion.
Kaylin also hated the Scuttle, but that's because it was voiced by an annoying ass character.
Yeah.
So that was okay.
Speaking of Scuttle, I wish that they would have given. I don't care about Sebastian; he's a crab, whatever. I wish they would have given Flounder just a little bit of that like animatedness that the bird got, because like y'all gave me a straight fish, but then you gave me this like goofy bird that doesn't even look entirely like a realistic seagull. Like y'all didn't put a realistic seagull.
Well, she's not supposed to be a seagull because she goes
she's a
underwater.
booby. That's right.
Yeah,
she's a booby.
She's a booby. Yeah, and so I think that's so funny that they gave Scuttle so much more time than Flounder when Scuttle isn't that important.
I'm not talking about time. I'm just saying even the way she acted, her body moved, like even her face, it just felt animated. And I feel like Flounder, it was just like a fish. But that's a personal opinion. I just think Flounder, it freaks me out. I don't know why. It's
okay. So then we get to the magical moment. Okay, I cried during part of this world when she did this thing on the rock. When she did the scene on the rock, it was so pretty, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And then the moment the movie changed for the better, even though it was already a great movie, was when she got on the boat. And she saw the prince talking about how he wanted to explore the seas. I looked at Kaylin and I said, "This all makes sense now." They're gonna give him an actual character storyline. Like I understand why she loves him now.
By giving him a personality.
They literally fixed the film.
Yeah, because like she already had a personality in the original film too. By the way, I need to add one more Kaylin thought from the movie. Every time a boat would come up, I thought of Sea of Thieves, and I'd always mention
every time.
I thought the rock scene was not as cool as it needed to be.
I disagree.
I'm sorry.
I really liked it.
I felt the way she was singing wonderful. I felt the motion of it was not.
I was gripping Kaylin at this moment, waiting for the rock scene. I was like, "It's coming. The build up is coming."
I feel bad because I saw like very mixed reviews on the rock scene. They were like, "Ooh, the singing was there, but the performance wasn't."
Dang. Well, so they were on the boat, and I literally remember I looked at Kaylin and I was like, "Oh no, this was later. This is when she was human and she was in his little office." I looked at Kaylin and I said, "It makes sense why they're in love. They're both autistic." I was like,
"I make that joke."
No, I did.
I said he's showing her his autistic collection.
And she said,
Yeah,
"So
like,
She had an
he's
autistic
like
connection underwater.
yeah, he's obsessed with the exploring the water, and she was obsessed with exploring the land, and I was
Actually, he
like,
was
they're
obsessed with
literally
exploring other cultures. He
Yeah,
just happened to have something
he
to
had
the sea.
artifacts
I wish I wasn't corrected because I fail stupid.
I'm sorry.
because
I'm
you
sorry. I
feel
said that
stupid.
really, like, bitchy. I'm sorry. I liked that, even though she couldn't talk too, she was still teaching him things, like, she would, like, blow on the little horn thingy, or she broke up his fucking rock. I was
Rock.
stressed.
Yeah, I felt like they did such a good job portraying like, I think they did really good at acting. I think that I was telling Kaylin and Kinsey, I told you guys both about how that scene where she couldn't talk and the music was playing, so she was, like, singing in her brain, felt so,
Mm.
like,
That's
musical
a
vibe.
really good new song that they added. I loved that. And yeah, they did add a few new tracks. I really liked the moments creatively that they wrote between Eric and Ariel, because like I liked all of those moments you just mentioned. Jumping ahead one more time to talk about another moment when she told him what her name was, because in the cartoon Sebastian whispered in his ear, and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Ariel." But the way that she was like telling him to shush when he was about to finish the word Aries and stopped him at Airy, and then like he guessed Ariel, it was so cute.
I was confused on how he got her name from that.
Well, he was
Yeah,
probably
I was just
thinking
about
of
to say
any,
the
I
same
was
thing.
like
I was like,
but like how
"How'd you
many?
get that?"
Okay, Ariana. Like, there's only a few names with Ari. You know what I mean? Like, it would have taken just a few guesses to get to
you
Ariel.
think
I would
she
have
could
guessed it in the first
spell? You
three.
think she could spell? She could have wrote it for him.
No, she's from underwater, dude. It's different culture. You think they had paper underwater?
She
Yeah.
could write in the
Sit down.
sand.
She can write
Bitch,
in
the
the
water is always washing over the sand.
I don't know about that.
Like, go to the bottom of the ocean and try to draw your finger.
Okay, Kaylin, I'll go to the bottom of the ocean in my free time.
Hold on, guys. Give me a minute. And then Ryan goes,
Also, do you
Yeah.
think
The
their
ocean
culture
that's
they
available to
need
her.
to write when they have echolocation? There's no sending letters.
How do you know the mermaids have echolocation?
I'm just saying they have ways that aren't. It could be anything. That's just an example. I'm saying,
Not all sea
why do they
creatures
need to
have
send
it.
letters? Why do they might not need that.
Well,
Clearly, they have
I'm actually a
fish
mermaid, so I
and like
know.
Sebastian who spread messages. They don't need to
I'm
write them
actually a
down.
mermaid, so I know that we have pen and paper down there.
Pen and paper.
Yeah,
You know what paper's made out
it's
of?
seaweed, and then we write with the ink from the other bugs or the other fish, and we go.
So what do you do with the
no,
paper underwater? How does
octopus.
that hold
No,
up?
it sits down there.
Or the
You
squid
guys have
ink.
never been to the bottom of the
This-
ocean.
You just like squeeze a good squid and put it into a
Yep,
little bottle. Got your ink.
What's the paper?
whatever I want it to
The
be.
clams. We draw on the clams
Draw on the
and the
clams.
sand dollars.
Kaylin, don't question the real mermaids
Okay,
here.
no, you're good. You
Um,
guys make total
Chowder.
sense.
you know what? One thing I did, I was telling my friend how I didn't like his song, the princess song, and apparently it's a fan favorite. The
I was gonna
discourse
say
on my
I
Twitter
really liked it.
timeline
I
is
don't
that
remember
it's
the
good.
words, but I remember after he sung it, I thought it was really cute.
Yeah, my Twitter mutuals yelled at me and said that that song was really good and that they loved it, and I was like, "Ooh,
Let me
I'm
look
on
at
the
the
wrong
lyrics.
side."
I remember when it played, I turned to you and I said, "That was so sweet." You didn't say anything back, no, and now I know why.
When Mariah's quiet, she doesn't respond. That's when you know what her real answer is. She's like,
Wild Uncharted Waters. Also, I forgot that he had a British accent, and that was really cute too. So
It was like really slight because he tried to keep. Oh my gosh, yeah. Let's talk about the fact that he was a white man adopted by his black mother.
mm-hmm.
that was cool.
I was not expecting that. I didn't know that before watching it.
Let me look at
I
one
thought
of
that was
these.
such an interesting twist. The fact that he like wasn't just this born prince. Again, just like Ariel, he did not want to be this prince that was trapped in a castle. She did not want to be the mermaid that was trapped in the ocean. And I thought the parallels throughout this film, they did such a good job giving them actual characteristics.
See, I watched it and I was like, Ariel. I'm like, that was fun. And then Mariah's like, the story.
No, I mean, it was so good. Like the parallels of their lives and
good.
what they wanted out of life. I thought they did good to make them actually like, because let's be honest, if you look at the old Disney movie, it was like, oh, love at first sight. This is the girl I'm going to kiss her because like she's cute
Because
and
she's
funny and I
pretty.
like her.
Yeah.
And that's it. And like this one gave so much more depth to like the understanding of them actually like, this felt like genuine love. Like if I was a child watching this, I'd be like, that's true love. But instead I was like, love at first sight. I'm going to fall in love by just looking at this man. You know what I mean? Like it gives
I
you an actual
agree.
real representation of the world.
Okay, first of all, in a beautiful British accent, he says, "You're right here on the shoreline. I'm right here where you left me, and your voice is like a siren that guides me to wild, uncharted waters." I'm going to skip a couple things. There's no map or compass to guide me. No time may change the shoreline, but time will not change me. If it takes my life, I will finally find you again in uncharted waters. Come find me again.
I should
Like,
watch that
that
movie
is
again
It's
tonight.
giving
cute.
romance.
He said, like, this woman saved my life, sung to me, and disappeared, and I don't care if it takes my life, he said. I will
I wish I
find
wasn't a hopeless romantic. I'm about to watch this movie again tonight.
in a beautiful British accent.
You have a partner. I don't.
That doesn't mean I can't be in love with the idea of love all the time.
It's just like reading a romance book, Kinsey, okay?
That's easy to
I
say
can
when
enjoy
y'all have
fiction.
someone to cuddle with.
Well,
That's easy to say.
We say that
Scuttle, go read
self-swaddle.
a book. Go read a porn book.
Did you just bring up the swaddling? You think
Yep.
that's gonna solve my problems?
Anyways, Kaylin, I remember telling you how we don't like Aquafina, the girl who voices Scuttle, and I couldn't remember why.
Yeah.
It's cause she's an Asian American with a really heavy black accent, and she acts like black, and people don't like her because of that.
Yeah, I think you told me during the movie about that, because I was like, I just didn't like her voice. I had no problem with her being a girl. It was just like it felt like an annoying presence that, like, it was almost like
Yeah,
a weird kid in the room that didn't accent like the group. You know, it was like, why
yeah.
are you here?
We don't stan Aquafina because of it. She basically acts like a black person, and she's not black. Like, I'm talking like fit, outfit, mannerism, the way she talks, everything.
Very mimicking, like.
Yeah, I get that we're like cool and all, but you wouldn't actually want to be a day in my skin. So,
Yeah.
so then we move on to Kiss the Girl. Well, no, actually, I need to backtrack.
Retract.
Ursula. This is the scene when I
Ooh.
don't remember anything, and I remember telling Caitlin this didn't happen. She's like, "Yes, this happened." I was like, "This didn't happen." She's like, "Right, this," because I couldn't remember
I like how
anything
Mariah's
with
saying it all
Ursula.
confidently too. Like, yeah, this didn't happen. You didn't even like the movie
That's
when you're.
literally how I said it. I was like, "Caitlin, I don't remember this happening in the movie. This is a new twist." She's like, "No, Mariah, this literally happened." We bashed on Poor Unfortunate Souls and how they slowed it down, right, Caitlin?
Yeah, it was like very slow down. Like, I was like, it was like a beat before. And I also gave my opinion that I felt like it could have been cool had Ursula maybe been a drag queen, because the character design was inspired by a drag queen, and I feel like Ursula just has a big personality, very camp. And Mariah made a good point. She said, "Listen, we already had enough trouble getting a black person to play Ariel. Imagine if we had a drag queen playing Ursula." And I was like, "That's sad," but
Yeah,
I still thought that would have been like a good like homage. You know what I mean, to like the person it was inspired by.
I agree, and that's just the sad truth of the world we live in. Like, they had to pick their poison at the fact. Oh, don't
That
throw
was hella
it
rude,
at him.
Kinsey.
Then get him. He's a sad little scary
Bitch,
boy.
check beans right here.
Oh, well, you have to pick which one you care about more. That's a sad reality. You are true, Caitlin. Like, I think it would have been so good, but like, this movie got so much shit just for having a black woman. Like,
And there's so many drag queens that could sing. Like, they would have like
oh,
popped
because you
off.
are correct. I think I loved who was it, Melissa McCarthy?
Yeah, it
I think she
wasn't
did a
bad.
good job, but I agree with the drag queen would have pushed it over that level of like
I felt like I was watching
insaneness.
somebody cosplaying and doing a really good job, but like
Yeah,
I would have believed the character had it, like, I don't know, just been a little more over the top.
yeah, like
I
just
think
that
a
extra
drag queen would
spice
have
would
been
have been fun.
perfect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that way? Do you feel like almost like we were watching like a really good cosplay, but you just didn't believe it was really
Yes,
them?
that's how I felt. I was like, okay, this bitch, like, she's really putting her whole ussy into it, but there was just that part of me that couldn't get into the drama. It's not that she didn't do good. I really just felt like
She did really good.
I feel like the look could have been better if it was a drag queen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the
So
world we live in.
she gets her legs. This is the part that I said that didn't happen. Was when she
Oh,
got her legs under the water. I was like, didn't she like wake up on the land? And Kayla was like, no, she had to swim from the ocean too. And I was like, no, it didn't. She was like, yes, it did.
Yeah, she was in the water and like she's like
there's
in
this whole scene where she like busts up and it's her
yeah.
silhouette in both of them.
Yeah, but no nipple on the silhouette. And like she's like sitting there with like her knees up in front of her and her hair is dripping in front of her boobies. And so when I was a kid, I was like, did the
She
animators
gets
fuck
caught
up?
by an old man in a fishing net in this one.
Yeah, that was weird. That
That
was
was
really
a very
weird.
weird way to do it, because before she just washed up on shore, Scuttle came and helped her, and they put on like some scraps from the beach. What was wrong with that? I felt like that was a fine enough, like, but maybe they were just trying to like speed it along. Like, you know, get it. Like I don't know, maybe it just went
I
by
think
faster.
that because in the original movie, there wasn't that, like, story with it, so they needed that connection of how she got to interact with the prince again, like, in a normal
I
way,
think she
not in, like,
just
a
still got found. Like I think it was the prince himself actually that found her on the beach because they were
Oh,
looking on the shoreline, and that's where they found her. But
interesting.
I would love to see why they changed that. I just feel like some changes made it better. Some changes were like that's different and why.
Yeah. So we see their little, like, romantic
He's
date
chewing your
together.
brushes.
I know, but, like, I'm trying to think, should I let Bean get off my lap and save my
You
brushes?
should, because Chowder's going he's a child, and he will get into something.
Just slide over. You literally have a rolly chair. Oh nope.
Too late. Look at him, he knew he was in trouble. Uh, we get into their little cute date together, where they happen to run together even though his mother said not to leave the castle.
Mhm.
And I thought it was so adorable seeing their little interactions in the real world. Um, we talked about how he had to run after that fucking hat that wasn't important. He was like, "Oh my god, my hat!"
Mhm.
And he chased after the whole thing.
She took a hat off a random stranger, and then that was his whole like
Yeah,
connected to that.
all of a
Oh,
sudden the
by
hat
the
was
way, I
important.
really liked the Caribbean twist because one, it makes sense. I feel like with just I don't know that whole idea of being curious and different cultures and stuff because the Caribbean is like a very big like mashup of different like ethnicities and people. So all the white people that were complaining like, well, the original animation was based in Denmark and Denmark has white people. Like it's like okay, well this is a different telling. Okay, we're
Yeah.
not that that would have mattered anyways, but I just liked the scene change. I had no issues with it, and I thought it like kind of fit their personalities.
Yeah, it fits so much better. I think it fit the exploration, like you said, the fact that they were learning about these different cultures, and that's what they want to begin with.
I mean,
Hmm.
that was, like, part of the story that I felt like was so detrimental not detrimental, like, so
Pivotal.
pivotal, yeah, about why the storyline itself felt more, like, organic. There was chemistry in it, was and I feel like putting them bitches in Denmark wouldn't have made it as cool compared to being in the Caribbeans, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, the original one didn't have the story that this one has, so they needed to give it an actual place, not just Denmark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought their date was pretty cute.
And then we go into Kiss the Girl, which I lied to Kayla and said it wasn't in the movie because I heard it was in the movie.
And then it was.
See, I only knew, like, very, very basic things about the movie, like, I didn't know anything about the plot line, like, literally the only thing I heard about the plot was the chemistry between the 2, so that's what I was looking forward to. But seeing
Well,
all
this
the
was the best scene with the chemistry,
yeah,
was Kiss the Girl.
yeah.
That man couldn't take his eyes off of her. He did so great acting.
I'm still out
Was
here
he
in
acting, though?
I mean it's
I wouldn't be.
I wouldn't be.
I'm still out here in uncharted waters. Like I'm still over here, girl.
Listen,
Caleb,
he
what's
was a
that
gentleman the whole time. I heard that all throughout promotions and stuff, he made it a point to be like, "This is her movie."
Yeah, I mean, she hella cute, but like after I saw his little music video, I was like, that was really cute, and I see why they casted you.
Caleb, what's that Taylor Swift song where she's like, "You left me here in the restaurant"?
Oh,
That that's you about that song. You're like, "I'm still over here."
you left me right here. I think it's called.
The one that goes, "I'm still here." Dun, dun, dun,
Oh,
Yeah.
dun.
oh yeah, it is. So are you saying it with like a bop to it, like in like a higher like note setting?
Sorry.
Yeah, I think that it was so cute, the little scene of Kiss the Girl, and I thought it was, like, even better than the
You know
original
I
one.
live in London.
Sebastian was so cute with his little lyricist, and Scuttle came through, not horrible. Flounder was low with the water.
Brian like spitting when they're.
Yeah,
I loved
We're
it.
out
I
here
felt like it
roasting
was
the fact that
vibrant.
Flounder's a fish, and this is the live action Little Mermaid, and
I
he's a
was
fish.
I was telling Mariah before we got on the podcast, I feel like overall the entire movie, but especially this scene, like, was really vibrant and not in like a way where like maybe they're like cheesy, putting too many sparkles or high definition in certain areas. Like it actually felt like vibrancy in a very like eye catching. I can't even stop looking at the CGI way. And like the
Yeah.
kiss the
Yeah.
girl scene, I felt like was like bopping.
I agree.
Oh,
They
yeah,
did
you're
really
right.
good.
I mean, the Kiss the Girl scene, the scene I don't remember the song, the Under the Sea song at the beginning Like, it kept your eyes going the whole time.
You just reminded me during the whole song. I kept saying, like, "Where are all the fish?" They showed everything but a fish. They showed, like, turtles crawling on the ground. They showed these weird starfish. They showed, like I was like, "Why aren't there any fish?" I was telling Mariah, I was like, "Not one fish besides
Kayla
flounder?"
was roasting it.
I was just like, "What is that? Where's the fish? What is that?"
Under the sea with no fucking fish. Doo-doo-doo. Like,
I mean, I know there's other life other than fish. I just was bothered. I was like,
They
not.
were just too deep for the fish,
I
they
wanted
were,
like
like,
a
on the
school of fish
bottom.
to swim around once in a
bitch,
while.
there
I
was
don't know.
coral.
But they were picking weird animals with like not even faces a lot of the time. And then with the I didn't like the turtle choreography. I thought it was weird. I thought that was just a way for them to have like a green screen room and have the actress sit down for once and it was like a quick budget thing and like they had her probably sitting on top of some person crawling, dressed in green. And like it was just an easy way to like instead
Car
of hooking
Titan.
her up to a rig and doing something actually dynamic with the camera, not let's just stage it and have the turtles do a spin, let's do that.
It's giving Cart Titan. Just imagine a person,
Car Titan!
like a person crawling on the green
Were
screen.
y'all blown away? I was not blown away by the turtle dancing. I wish they would have
No.
swam around the room. Like that would have been cute. We're under the water, like so don't walk. Like literally,
Y'all just
literally.
missed it. My 2 cats ran into my room. Did you hear the screech in my room?
No.
No,
As if
ma'am.
as if a car went while I was turning, like, that was them. They just rockets in here. It scared the fuck out of me. They were fighting.
But yeah,
Um,
they could have just had. I feel like it defeated the purpose of the meaning of the song. Like we're under the sea and all the fish are swimming and shit. Like you don't need no walking on land, and we're gonna have turtles walk on the bottom of the ocean. I don't think I've ever seen a sea turtle walk on the
Have
bottom.
them sleeping. I mean, have them swimming.
Have them
Why
swimming.
why are they walking?
Put the camera on the ground and make it look up and have turtles just dynamically swim over me. That's what I want to feel when I'm underwater. I want to look up. Like I'm not trying to sit here and look down at like walking. No. Anyways, we can go on.
so then from Kiss the Girl, we have the Ursula turns into a human being.
Oh, this bitch pisses me
I
off every
remember how
time.
much I hated that scene in the animation. I hated it in this one as
Props to the
well.
actress though. She did a really good job like playing as like the pretty Ursula and then like being an evil witch like when she was screaming crazy and laughing. I was like, "Oh my god, that was actually really cool."
All I'm saying is, I don't care how unconscious or dizzy this prince man was. He had to tell the difference between a white girl and a black girl saving
He
his
was
life.
bewitched. She had his
Yeah, I think
voice.
it was more like in the movie, instead of it being visual this time, it was more like
Yeah.
he was being bewitched. But like in the animated one, like let's say they would have originally animated her as a brown person instead, like then I would have been like, Eric, how did you not see? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
because the only thing she was doing in the animated version was having her voice, you know?
But I
Yeah.
think I even saw this weird thing because like she uses Ariel's voice, which technically mermaids and sirens kind of come hand in hand. And she like used her witch magic on top of Ariel's voice to
Yeah.
turn into a siren song to bewitch a man. So I
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
see
So
that
maybe
too.
I'm still wrong. Maybe even if she would have been animated brown in the first movie, because Ursula has that witch magic, he would have been like, I've suddenly forgotten that you were actually brown, and you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
And what I enjoyed about this, again, like going back to the fact that they actually gave the characters like personality that made them like each other, is it didn't feel like this weird magic spell was just broken and all of a sudden he understood that Ariel was Ariel and not the witch. Like he had that whole internal conflict for a couple minutes, like, this is the girl I've been like chasing after. She saved my life and I thought I loved her, but I've really been enjoying my time with Ariel. So now I'm conflicted. Like in the original movie, didn't have that conflict that Prince Eric had to go through.
Yeah, I liked it because even the cool butler man was like, how about instead of focusing on what was, focus on what is, aka he was pointing at this mute girl he was having a lot of fun with. Even though he was, wishing and wanting this girl that saved him on the shore, little did he know it was her. But, basically he thought he got what he wanted because, like, he thought that Ursula was, the girl that saved him.
Mm-hmm.
And you could even tell something was just still unsettling. Like, and you're bewitched, but like there's still like a core to you. Like
I've never been bewitched.
when you get bewitched. You know when you.
You casually get bewitched every once in a while.
listen, but her dress
I
is really
kind of meant to
pretty.
say like when
Her
you see
her
it in media, but
her
whatever.
Yeah,
dress
I
is
know.
really pretty. The Ursula girl, well, the like her hot version. I thought her dress was really pretty. Do y'all
I
not
agree.
agree?
I agree.
I thought she looked very nice in purple.
And then we didn't get the dramatic fight scene on the boat. That was what I was hoping for. That was the only scene I liked from the original animation.
Yeah, we were on a patio, it seemed. Anyways, but when the animated version, like Ursula was on the boat and she like came after Ariel and grabbed her and took her off into the water, I got scared.
Bro, she was like,
Yeah.
I will say
She came back,
they CGI'd them tentacles very well. I
Yeah.
like how her tentacles kind of glowed from the inside. Glue.
I have something to say when I come back.
Yeah, they did a good job. I wish that they could have did like a little more with her character, like pushed the button a little more. I feel like, I know in the animation her like little eels had like personalities, and I think that helped give in to like her wickedness. I feel like they could have made her a little more nasty.
Yeah, I feel like in the movie she was just so nasty. Like you couldn't like empathize with that bitch at all. Not that you really could with this one, but like because she was so nasty, I didn't even like her. I didn't even like her in the first one, but this one I was like, oh, wow, I love the actor. She's doing a great job.
Like even when they brought her back, when like she was like Ariel's mine now to Trident, like I just felt like she could have been a little more. Like
Yeah.
you literally just killed King Trident.
I guess she can't come back, guys.
I guess we're finishing without Kaylin.
Hello, listeners. We have to let you know that the third cog in the wheel is broken, and we will have to keep moving on with just 2 cogs, Mariah and I.
So, anyways, we just got to the part where Ursula has taken Ariel and killed Trident. I
That
did
was
not
traumatic.
remember this happening in the original movie.
In the original movie, she fucks up Trident, and he like loses a lot of energy and gets really old looking, from what I remember. But he didn't
That's what
die.
Kaylin said. Yeah,
He didn't die. He was like on the verge of dying because he was so old. But
like the Trident like took his power with him, and she was like, "You're weak now."
Yeah. But in this movie, that was traumatic. I'm sorry.
Or
I was
Kaylin
like,
said that he didn't get old. He like got turned into like this little creature.
yeah, I think he did actually. I think she's right. You know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of the moment of like Ariel holding her father as his energy's leaving his body, and he like is getting older and smaller as she's holding him, and he is honestly kind of traumatic to watch as a child. And then he does turn into a little like wormy thing, because you know those things Ursula had in her cave that were like,
yeah.
you're like,
They're
he
like,
was,
"Oh, it's the lost souls."
he was turning into one of those.
Yes.
Yeah, she is right. Yeah, that was crazy. I felt like the special effects on the trident were really cool. Like I was like that trident has power. Like
I know. And then Ursula just got gigantic.
yeah, I felt like the gigantic scene was good, but I'm sorry, it just still didn't give the energy of the original one.
It didn't. I agree. I really liked the scene in the animation, so it wasn't the same. And then Prince Eric just like could come to the bottom of the ocean to save her.
Yeah, that confused me. I like in the original movie, remember when was it Ariel or Eric? They were sitting at the bottom of that like of the hole of the tornado hole where it was dry.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't that happen?
Yeah, I think that they pushed science a little too much. Like Ariel was like at the bottom of the ocean, got legs, and like swam to the top, and Eric could just like dive in the water and save her. And like I know it's just my Virgo talking, but I was like, it's a bit much, don't you think?
It's a bit unrealistic, don't you think?
Yeah. So that was cute, and then the movie basically comes to a close with her no longer being a mermaid, which I thought was kind of whack. I feel like Mr. Trident could have did something. I mean, I guess in theory, if she wanted to be a mermaid again, Mr. Trident could make it happen. But
right, that's how the original movie ends.
Movie are we at?
Right, that's how the original movie ends. She's not a mermaid anymore. What do you mean?
I know, but like, isn't there like, can't we do like an H2O thing where like if she gets wet, she gets?
See, that's what I thought you were gonna say.
Because what if she's a human and they're traveling the world and she like needs to do something? What's she gonna call her father and be like?
Travels through via boat.
I mean, they were already changing the story. I feel like they could have just changed it up even more at the end. Let her like be able to choose when she wanted to be mermaid. When she,
Because what if she decides to leave and they go to America and she needs to be a mermaid for an emergency? What is she going to call her father from across the world? How does that work?
I don't know. She chose to be a person, dude.
And then I thought it was really weird when all the mermaids popped up and they were talking to all the humans. I didn't like it. I understood that they were like bringing two units together. Like the mother was like, the people of the ocean are no longer trying to kill us. We are one unit. So they show all these mermaids and talking to the humans.
Yeah, I feel like in the original movie, like the vibes of them coming together felt more realistic, even though they
That
didn't.
happened in the original movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the mermaids were waving off the people, and the people were like, "Whoa, the mermaids!" Like they didn't actually like come together in truce, but like they were okay with the idea that mermaids exist. It kind of like insinuated like,
Oh.
"Oh, don't kill a mermaid because they seem cool." But I feel like in the movie, for the that interaction to happen, it almost felt like rushed. Like, whoa, y'all just popped out of the water, and you're gonna act like you're best friends. Like they didn't even act like they were best friends in the OG. Like, in the OG, they were just like, "Oh, mermaids are there. Let's not, like, kill them?"
Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense. I
What
thought
is
like it was
maybe
really
they were
rushed.
just trying to add more like I guess context in the beginning, like oh, because they didn't even mention Ariel's mom dying in the first Little Mermaid. That was the second Little Mermaid thing. So they mentioned it in this movie. So you're like, oh, there's big beef. But then Kenzie's like, yeah, it feels rushed.
It just felt rushed. Like, if you're I don't know, I feel like I would've liked to see throughout the movie maybe more examples, even if they were short of conflict. Of, like, mermaids being like, "We could never get along with the humans. We just lost our dude James," and their friend James is, like, incredibly injured, and they're taking him to, like, you see him off screen, like, going to a mermaid hospital, and then you go up to the shore, and you see, like, humans talking about, like, "God damn it, the mermaids just, like, attacked us again." Like, I don't know, so that's why at the
But the
end.
mermaids didn't attack anyone. That's the thing. They never were like violent.
Well, the queen said that they were stealing like bits of their island, not physically, like hand by hand. The mermaids were going picking it, but they were saying the ocean was, and that the mermaids control the ocean because King Triton is king of the sea.
Uh,
You know what
Um,
never got down with me is why is King Trident's name Trident? If he's gonna be the king of the sea, it should be Poseidon.
because
Disney.
he's not a god.
He can't be the king of the sea if he isn't a god.
Yes, he can.
No, he can't.
He had no godlike powers. He was just the king of the sea.
But wouldn't the king of the sea be Poseidon?
No.
He's the
In
one
a
who
Greek telling,
he's the one who
Yeah.
made the sea.
That would be like a different telling of the like world, yeah.
I'm just saying in this
Well,
world.
King Trident didn't make the sea. He just was the king in there right now.
Yeah, but Poseidon wouldn't make the sea and be like, "All right, let me elect a king." He'd be like, "I'm the
Yeah, he
king."
would while he's fucking
Poseidon,
bitches.
Poseidon was hanging out in Hercules. That's a different universe.
Yeah.
Shut up. I'm just saying.
While Poseidon was making demigods like they do, he had
Oh,
to put
hi,
someone in
Bean.
charge.
My chair.
Technically, Pegasus' dad is Poseidon.
I know.
Let's talk about King Triton being an asshole and destroying everything.
Wait. Before we topic jump, you guys went through the movie and you guys went over the Ursula fight, and I was on the toilet, so I'm back and I want to say something about it really quick before we change
Okay.
Oh,
topic
we've
again.
already gotten past it.
So I don't think. All right, I don't get to say anything.
Go, Kaylin.
All right, I will. Here we go. We're gonna share the screen.
What?
Okay, this scene. Oh my god. Wait, actually, I don't even want to share that screen. I want to share.
You know what? The animated Prince Eric wasn't bad looking.
You're saying that now.
Bad looking.
Here we go. Wait, bigger.
Maybe he was. I only saw one still that Kaylin pulled
Alright,
up.
y'all. The way that they animated her being big gave me megalohydrothalassophobia, which is
What does that mean?
it's a fear of large underwater creatures or objects. Like it was giving very much kaiju, very much kraken. Like I
Can
feel
you
like
say
an
it again?
animated.
Megalololo.
Here,
Oh,
Sounds like a
say it again.
prescription in the
we
pharmacy.
actually had a roast.
Megalohydrothalassophobia.
We actually had a roast about this scene where we felt like it just didn't live up to the hype of the animated movie.
I know,
Yeah.
but she looked like the way that they did it live action. What I'm trying to say is that it just felt very Godzilla. It felt, I feel like the original, she was like big, but like it was like the animation. I guess I felt like I
Yeah.
was like watching Godzilla.
I
Like,
also talked about when you were gone, Kaylin, about how unrealistic it was. Like for them to have the fight scene on the ship, it made more sense than like Prince Eric diving into the bottom of the ocean to save Ariel.
I think he did that in the original.
Oh
was
my god!
literally
Kill
all-
Hey,
me.
listen. In the original, he did dive down, okay, to try to save her, but he gets fucked up because the eels fuck him up, and they're like dragging him around, trying to drown him.
The
Okay,
same thing happened. In
and
this.
and Ursula goes to shoot him, and Ariel, just like in the live action, pushes her aside and kills the eels, which then Ariel has the moment to swim up, grab Eric, and go as he's drowning, by the way. But still, even in the fucking movie, it was still just wasn't realistic for him to be able to dive down there that deep, you know what I'm saying? And
I know,
I
but
was
it's
mentioning that in the movie, the whole tornado thing is made in the middle of the ocean. Why was Ariel not at the bottom of it? Like in the movie.
like from the original?
Like, do you remember in the original, like, Ursula made that whole,
Yeah.
like, and then Ariel was sitting at the bottom of it, and, like, Eric was like, "How am I gonna get down there?" You know?
Well, I
I was
will
looking forward
say
to
that
that.
even though we don't understand why some things changed, I can't complain about every difference, especially if it doesn't hurt the story because, like, I was just complaining at the beginning of the
I know, I
podcast
was
that
just
I
looking
hate the
forward to it.
screen
I
by
was
screen
I was
ones.
looking forward to it because the water was glowing and everything, and I thought it'd be a really cool shot.
You're right.
I thought it would. I thought it was gonna be a cool shot if they did it.
Honestly, half of the reasons we're thinking probably are budget, but also I feel like it's more money to do the scene where they had like a boat, catch her in a net. That feels like way more work than just her washing up on a beach.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they did
Maybe
some.
they didn't know how to cover her nudity or something.
Yeah, I guess a net does the job. I don't know. And then Mariah wanted to talk about how he was an asshole dad. We're going back to the beginning.
Yeah, that was it. It wasn't that important. I was scared during that scene when he showed up and destroyed everything.
I thought that I loved all their acting, and I felt like a lot of them like fit each other. And I think he has like a great face for King Trident, but I felt like his acting was so like flatline.
Yeah,
Like it was
Kayla made fun of
so.
his acting.
Oh, you did?
No, you did.
Oh, I did. I was just like, he was like, my daughter, I love her.
I love her.
Yeah, it was just like he's like, I'm angry.
They should have casted my dad.
Killed my wife.
Mariah's like, they want a dad that'll break all your shit? They should have casted my dad.
He would have done that scene great.
They don't reprimand their daughters.
What do we want to talk about now?
That's pretty much it. I actually enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed it. I didn't like the animation one that was originally made. So this one I would like actually watch again.
Yeah, I think I would watch the original for the animation because it's definitely got some 2D parts I'm a fan of and animators I'm a fan of. But I would agree for the story. It was like, it was a story. That's the main difference.
I just love a good romance.
Mm-hmm.
I would watch
the original
the movie.
doesn't have Uncharted Waters
Shut
or
up.
that singing in her head song.
I would watch the movie again. I really loved the chemistry between the two, and I was very happy to see reviews about them and actually live up to it.
Yeah.
Right, ask us the question.
I asked if you would share it again. You guys all already answered.
Did I? I said I'd
We
watch
said
it.
if we
I'd
watch
share
it.
it.
If we share it, I would share it. I'd share it with
I would share it with Bean.
Didn't you the first time? Where was he during the movie? The first time you watched it.
Let's just
He was doing his own thing,
Let's just pretend he
running
hasn't
after the
watched
worm.
it. This time we'd be
sitting in the
watching it
tent.
intentionally with one another.
Ripley watched a few scenes.
Yeah, Ripley was
Before she
staring at it during the
stroked
one
out?
scene.
Do you think she was stroking?
No. Gosh. Well, Kaylin.
Yeah.
Kaylin.
What kind of sexy ass yeah was that? I felt like I was on a phone call where you pay for minutes.
You pay for the sex call?
And she said, yeah. I can't even do it because she's making me laugh. I can't. Yeah, Kaylin, why? What?
What are you sharing with us next time?